Hello, Butler University, and welcome to week 2 of NECC Preseason action, where we have your Butler University Bulldogs against the Aquinas College St. Bernards. We are actually jumping right into the game, so we're going to skip all the pleasantries. We'll get into that later as we start into map 1. So Overwatch is going to be a control map for playing on Oasis. We have Aquinas College on the left. Would be the blue team, and Butler University on the right. This series, again, is an NECC preseason match. The results of this week's matches, as well as next week's, will be used for placement and seeding into the regular season tournament when that happens. It looks like I've gone to the wrong spawn, so we'll join up with Butler here in the Oasis spawn room. This map will be This match will be a 3-map series. 3-map series, best of 3, but they'll go ahead and play all 3 maps. And we'll start on Oasis. It's a control map, so we're going to be fighting for control of the central objective. We'll see as soon as we launch out with them. And like I said, we're just jumping right into it. We got a quick start here on this series. Hope to keep you caught up with stuff as we go. For now, there's the control points. Both teams fighting over it, and it's a really quick engagement with the teleporter from Aquinas College onto the high ground. Starting with sort of visual advantage over the Butler University Bulldogs. But the dive comes in for depression right away. Unfortunately, not quite enough. To really good as we now have some of the cleanup here from Aquinas. We were able to win the first team fight and to catch the first payload control. Excuse me, point control. As that starts picking up to 100%, they go ahead and win the point, and then the match again is best of 3 on this map. It looks like the Twin Thunder Tracer catching an errant rocket from the Soldier 76. Yeah, so it looks like again Butler using really traditional Kizzy Tracer kind of dive composition versus the mobile brawl kind of thing with the Reinhardt and the Symmetra Lucio from Aquinas. Really taking out the teleporter is a really good priority from Shadow Edge, just for the sake of the mobility of the opponent. And again, the dive comes in, the ultimate comes out for depression on the Winston, and really getting a lot of work done, but of course it's just melted here with his Symmetra. It's really causing some problems. The window comes out from the Baptiste, but immediately is trading back and forth, lots of kills, actually in favor of the Butler University Bulldogs, and I think this may just be enough. Yeah, the Butler is able to win the team fight, kept back. It's 54% to Aquinas, but we are still doing just fine as depression is looking for some healing there from his Ana. Now there's several ultimates. If you look up in the top left, coming up for Aquinas. They've got their Shadow, they've got the Sound Barrier. That's going to be a really big fight if they have the ability to use it well. Butler doesn't have very much to respond. There's the Shadow, there's the shield coming out from the Symmetra, and there is the Dragon Blade coming in. Oh, but he gets grabbed. He gets still 2 kills on an immortality field, even though he gets grabbed. I would call that an excellent trade as the rally comes in to finish out this team fight. That was a very good use, very efficient use of the ultimates there. As this fight is still ongoing, the fight is convinced with the Sound Barrier as they're down. I'm not sure if that was intentional. I don't know if they wanted to do that necessarily. It's way around big fight, and it just continues with the Aquinas tactical visor. Does pick up a kill on Diana. Will it be enough to flip the point? Butler now has made it all the way up to match the control percentage of Aquinas. Focusing on the Reinhardt here. And it's super close again. Depression with a big primal rage there, but traded off with a couple Symmetra kills. Meanwhile, Butler is still doing point percentage, so it's not all is lost. Unfortunately, I think Aquinas is just about to cap. Yeah, okay. They have capped sort of mid-fight. I don't know if this was quite resolved until I guess now the teams have sort of backed off a little bit. But again, Butler able to pull up with 72% capture percentage as the dive comes in again for the correction. It's super good to watch. I forced out the immortality field and definitely call that a win, particularly with the application matrix that came out as well. But the question is, what is Butler able to do with this here? Sort of the Zarya and the Drake sort of trapped here in the corners. Oh, and this is the solo shatter, the bad manners. disrespect there from Aquinas College. As Butler again is forced out, and some stagger kills to boot. You know, certainly take that. They've got this Metro wall here in the grab going into the last fight. As now Butler is just trying to struggle to touch. It looks like it's maybe going to be the job of suppression of the Winston. As they're up to 97%, he's got to go down to that point. 98, he's touching, and there's immediately grabs come out from Aquinas. And the question is, yeah, who and how can touch this point? Looks like Butler is trying to approach there on the far corner. As here comes this tactical riser again that has had such devastating effect this round. And it looks like this round is going to go the way of the Aquinas College St. Bernard people. That was a quick first round. And yeah, I think a lot of this comes down to the Symmetra and Lucio and the mobility that the Aquinas composition was able to provide. There's just a lot of places to be at once, a lot of damage at once once you get the Symmetra ramped up. We'll have to see how Butler is able to transition away from a first round loss here as we move on to Oasis University. So here they come. Doors will open in about 5 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round.
Here we go. Butler's coming out with the Reaper Tracer. Very interesting composition. Pressing back on the Reinhardt to match to their side. Cowboy and the Reaper as well. Actually, double Reaper. This match goes. In fact, as the immortality field comes up to Butters. And from both sides. Pretty evenly matched first fight here. No blood to show on yet, but Butler definitely, I think, got a better position as he moved out onto the point and are attacking into the room. That's certainly having those limited targets is where Reaper thrives, and Butler will earn the first point as a result. So now it's just a matter of trying to maintain the space pressure all the way almost up to an Earth Shatter already, as well as the full front plane is soon. It's a defensive window right here to try to delay their approach as the time is now forced to switch around the other corner to try to see if they can find a way onto the point. But there's the Earth Shatter for the pressure. It's a big one, but unfortunately he pays for it with his life. The immortality feels a little bit too late there. And unfortunately, Aquinas not sure capitalizing on this quite yet, although as I say that they have started to push in. They've got the Earth Shatter going now. They ends up coming out from wayward. But it looks like he may not even need it. Expensive ideas as well as the sound barrier coming in. That should give them the momentum they need to recap 46% for the Butler University Bulldogs. I'm looking here now again at a really large bank of ults for the Aquinas College St. Bernards, but at the same time, again, 6 ults you win, or 6 ults you lose, right? So you have to use it, and it's eaten by 3. Huge play there. On the grab top third, and immediately trading off. I mean, that's the way you start the map, but unfortunately, I have to say that's the way you start the fight, but unfortunately a couple follow-up kills that's not quite enough to make a difference there. And just a Jedi, and the window coming in the fight as well against Aquinas. Impressive use there, as well as Diva looking at the substrate with the Butler University. They're engaged with that this fight, it's hard to say. We have seen a couple application of this as well. Poking and prodding a little bit at each other, and there's the shadows coming in, but again, not able to find much in the final. Death lost them, also a couple kills there, but trading back and forth. Zuyamaro opts not to use his ultimate to regain his mech. That'll be another team fight as Aquinas moves up to over 70% on point. What I'd like to see, the question becomes, how are you going to break through this defense? It's looking pretty nice. I mean, I think they, Butler definitely appreciated the benefit they got with moving in. There's a very beginning of the round, so in fact now it's the Jedi coming in, not able to find much, and in fact only just barely survived self-destruction to Yamama. He was able to rematch it, get back into the fight, melted down by the Reaper currently from Ultra. In the meantime, it's overtime here as Aquinas has made it all the way up to 99%. this round, they can win the map. Butler is really trying to fight here for the capture. It looks like they maybe at least temporarily succeeded. They're working on getting that capture, the point capture unlocked. It looks like they will. And now they've got to work up from 46% ideally to 100 to stay in this map. Yeah, we need time to breathe between fights because that's kind of how this game goes. But just like that, it's Aquinas coming back in for the engage. We've got the Shredder, we've got the something like see which kind of things they're able to use for this. If they need anything after this inserting, this time it's the hiding trap, but unfortunately not able to take the shelter of that mortality field, unfortunately. It's like several kills are going the way of I can't remember the name of the school, of Aquinas College. As we go, they're able to cap the point, and it's 99%. Quick touch here from the Tracer, and then from the Wrecking Ball potentially. But these are, swaps for the sake of touching the point. I'm not sure it's going to last. As he's touching the Divas coming in, the Baptiste is going to be next. Maybe before we be able to reach it, as the Death Blossom comes out in victory here for Aquinas College. As that's the end of map 1. And we'll see a play of the game here coming out from the Symmetra, from Aquinas. And you can see that here. And that was that round. Aquinas, with Oasis going the way of Aquinas College. As we will move on here briefly into the second map. Our second map for this series is actually going to be, I believe it is going to be. I can't think of it, so I'm just going to put it up on the screen. It's going to be Nimbani. It's the second map, where the first map was focused a lot on control points and capturing the actual location on the map. This map is a hybrid map, so they'll start with the control point and then push the payload through. We'll see that once we get into the game. But yeah, until then, trying to think back on this Oasis map we just had. There's a lot of brawl we saw from both teams. Lots of the Reinhardt, particularly on Oasis University, which is not exactly unusual, not exactly unheard of. But it really was a lot of the question of strategy, whether it was running from the Reaper to the Symmetra or the Reaper to the Tracer or McCree. Different interpretations of the same general kind of style. It's an interesting look. As we're now jumping back in just like that, going into map number 2. If I can get this arranged. We're just gonna go for it. It's fine. As we are now on Nimbani for map 2. The score again is 1-0, and it looks like the teams have switched sides. Let me fix that for you real quick. We have Butler University on the left. So yeah, just a second on that.
Ready for battle. Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
This all happened in real time because we're doing it live.
Excuse me for dropping.
Streaming and casting and producing this one-man show, so it's gonna be how it is, and that's all fine. As we go now into this Nimbani map. There we go. Looks like it's going to be Aquinas College Butler University on the defense. And this is the catch point here. Once the payload is unlocked, it'll move down the map, and we'll go from there. Until then, it's really a question of how Aquinas is going to proceed. They're running with the Reaper Soldier, trying to get a long-range composition kind of going, as well as the Winston Diva. Looking at the Zarya Winston here for Butler University. A little bit of a different look we were seeing earlier. We're seeing, again, Okay. There's a couple quick kills, a couple nice dives with the DPS able to clean up for Aquinas here. As they've made it just to 1/3 of the point. Effectively driven Butler back here for now. And that'll be that. This is Aquinas with a very quick first point cap. 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the time bank. This is very good. Butler's focusing here at the corner, looking for the next engagement. I'd love to see Butler be more of the aggressors here. And again, as I say that, it's the immediate dive and counter dive, but unfortunately the way where Winston gets the worst end of it, the self-destruct comes in and doesn't find anything, but that's not a good place to be if you're the Winston. Right in the face of the Reaper, right in the face of the Soldier. Soldier's shooting here pretty well uncontested. You watch some of his perspective for a while. It's definitely going to be a target for Butler to deal with as Aquinas is pushing them all the way back almost to point C. And meanwhile getting lots of card pressure here as they have to get it to this point here to earn their second point, which they will almost do. We're about time for engage here. Here's the Dragon Strike coming through. Doesn't find anything, but it's able to split Butler up a little bit as there. Unfortunately, the engagement with the Dragon Blade just a little bit late. Does pick up a couple kills, but unfortunately, Aquinas can't quite see alright. There's actually the third kill for Shadow Edge on the Genji. Very nice. Unfortunately, yeah, not able to stop the payload, but at least, or excuse me, not able to stop the point capture, but they have at least put a stop to the payload for now. So it's good. Stemming the flow, as they say. But giving him a little bit of space for the sake of a very close bomb that the has. Oh, and that dropped the Soldier there pretty low. Had to pick up some healing from his support players there. The real question is, what's Butler able to do with some of the tank ults that we're looking at in this fight? Whether it ends up being the grab from Surge, the Primal Rage, there's the Dragon Strike coming through. Actually pretty effectively pushing him off the point. Certainly enough to pick up several kills here. As Twins is just going ham. Do they know the defense? Okay, no, she just jumped off the edge. I was gonna say, I don't think you're gonna last long if that's the case. And again, it's just Shadow Edge on the Genji farming, almost up to a Dragon Blade. Unfortunately, Butter's a little bit low still for his mana boost. Maybe even try to go for a Naked Blade if pressured, but I'd love to see the Nano Blade for sure. Once that ability comes through. Reaper, no fear on the top from Ober has no fear. And with the team behind him, I mean, who can blame them? They jumped pretty well up under the high ground here. It's really sort of just a play of who's able to go through the Dragon Blade, and in fact, there it is. No Nano Boost, can't quite make it with 98% Nano Boost, but who needs it when you can do that kind of deflecting? Shadow Edge on the Genji, really showing him what's up. And that's going to be the point, or the fight win again, as the time bank has now gone to about 4 minutes for Aquinas College to try to finish this one up. Impression doing a little bit of scouting potentially here on top, as well as some, Sport Ultimate Charge farming as far as that goes. And again, going around some of the Aquinas College. So, with the rough approach, but this time we're ready, even with the nano boosted Winston. We knew there was going to be something happening, and Shadow Edge trading on the Genji. It's fine for the one kill, but unfortunately the payload is going to continue to move. And with that window too, it's going to be a dangerous place for Butler to be right now. Anywhere out in this open area. There's a big fight going on here. The Dragon Strike comes through. Unfortunately, no kills, but some good damage. I don't know where I am anymore. Let's jump out in the middle of the fight. There's a couple. It was enough. It looks like to win this fight after all. So. Aquinas College within only a few meters of finishing the map. It's still about 3 minutes to do it, but Butler with several fight wins in a row now here. Looking pretty nice, and again, just building up to another Dragon Blade already. Do you think you combine that with any one of the tank ults? Could be super successful. You gotta be watching for the shatter. Maybe there's a Pretty big war chest as well for Aquinas on the other side. As they're looks like taking another approach around here, trying to rotate all the way around to the payload this way. I don't know exactly how that's going to work for us, other than to put them right here on the end of it. But Henry immediately threatened. That's super good, but the DPS ultimate there is still available and effective. As Aquinas now just depression on the Winston, trying to hold him off from capturing. Won't be able to last too long. Maybe we'll see a Miracle Dragon Blaze, what I was going to say, from getting there on the Genji, but it's not to be. That will be a completion for Aquinas College. 3 points with about 2 minutes remaining in the time bank. And so for those of you not familiar with Overwatch, now we switch sides and do it again. Because why not? So again, we can see the carnage on the streets of Nimbani as we head back over to point A. This time it'll be Butler's attack, and we'll see what Aquinas is able to throw at him.
Ready for battle.
All in all, considering how quickly point A was captured, it was really not a bad hold from Butler University. Nimbani isn't, particularly once you get past point B, it's not super easy to defend. So completing a map definitely is not an end of the world situation for Butler. It's likely to be able to do the same thing if they're able to have anywhere near as good a round as Aquinas did. And hopefully finish with some time remaining too. Keep this even match a little bit extra rounds. That's sort of the goal for the players as we're looking into this second round in Bonnie. Meanwhile, we can look at the Aquinas setup again with the Soldier and McCree. Double hit scan all the way up here on top. Playing in really risky positions, but they really trust their diva there in ATB, I suppose. Able to protect them from walking over. That comes in from Butler from depression of Winston. It's just really coordinated that as far as that goes. Isn't able to quite find much, despite the echo. I want to watch this echo that Prince is able to pull out. Here for Butler University, not quite healed up. Kind of pops in range of the eye. The Hopeson beam comes in. There's the first kill there from going to Nexus on Soldier 76. That's what Butler definitely could use to jump in here. And they're certainly thinking about it. Lots of good chip damage here. Here comes the dive. There's the dive. All the way here in the back. And the Blake is finally melting down. Target they were looking for, I think, and they're on it as well. There's no sports left alive for Aquinas College. This definitely looks like a map, or definitely looks like a point you win, but it's not over yet. With depression coming off the final rage, really putting in work despite getting flashbang by the free. There's the self-destruct that comes out. He's able to do that to the mama, but yeah, as I say that, the fight's turning around here for Aquinas. Oh, a remake kill that I didn't see. For the red diva, that's unfortunate. Wow, and no ticks through that whole thing. I was not paying attention to the objective progress. I thought for sure Butler would have had something there. But unfortunately no ticks there, so they've spent about 2 minutes on this attack. Here comes attempt number 3. We're going to see the Echo Boost Cage inside, we're going to see the rally. We already have the Genji Blade. And again, the opening kill on the Soldier is exactly what you want to see as you're preparing for the second dive. There's the blade. Comes through, taking out the Ana. These plays have been really consistent with Shadow Edge. Mad support there. The break. There's the tactical visor from the Aquinas. Really nice because of the doesn't have the 12 damage, but unfortunately not able to get security kills there for Aquinas. The nanoed Winston gets slapped unfortunately right here in the middle of the point. But in the meantime, Butler is building cash out percentage actually. I don't think they're gonna exactly let it go, but well, it looks like they're gonna be able to hold on to this. Oh, and maybe a missed jump here from Wayward. That's gonna be costing his life. And yeah, I don't know that that was intentional. He sort of jumped into the corner there. But nevertheless, that's going to be a point 8 take from Butler, and now it's just a game of momentum. Just like Aquinas is able to push further and further forward. I think Butler ought to take the same strategy if they can. Really, claiming the ground that they've been given. As here now, Aquinas is setting up for a point B defense. Chilling on the point there. I didn't see what happened with the. Oh, that's gonna be. Oh, that was a really good blade, or a really good self-destruct from both sides. Actually, I was watching the red one, but Zoom Mama also with a really nice self-destruct, and that's exactly the kind of fight when you need. I was gonna start talking about the duplicate from Twent. I didn't see that get used there in the point A fight. I was interested to see how he was going to use it, but that fight was just as over as quickly as it had begun. As we see the dive coming in, hopefully soon from the Winston with the self-destruct, or excuse me, with the Primal Rage, but not super effective, honestly. And again, as the point goes, Decree not quite able. Oh, clutch deflection again, be able to protect his teammates. And now it's Butler dive firing back. These are the kind of kills you need. You don't need to chase them super far, although it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Just enough to secure this payload progress. And now it's a similar timing. I believe Aquinas had about 4 minutes. I want to say when they were in this area for the first time. They thought they were just with less than 3.5. As Aquinas swaps over to the double shield, try to have a really defensive setup, but it's only a defensive setup of Shadow Witch, so the anything to say about it. There's a couple kills, as the immortality field as well makes things a little bit more difficult, but that's a really nice play there from Shadow Witch on the Genji. His blade's been so consistent with him. That's just super good stuff. The attack visor comes out, but unfortunately not able to, a ton of stuff you're able to do with it. You got to duplicate into the Sigma just to try to round that out, but popped out of it just before she's able to use the eliminating punch, unfortunately. Nevertheless, it's looking good for Butler. The kills are continuing through. It's just a question of how quickly they can clear the point before the end of this map. It's just the Moira. It's the Moira and the Lucio now here for Aquinas. And at this rate, Butler's almost going to be able to compete with time if they can continue getting these kills. The May is stalling a lot. The ball there as well from Wayward. But there now the payload's moving, and that's going to be the end of this round. 2 minutes 11 versus 1:55. Butler has a few more seconds extra to try to complete this map in the next round. So we will go until one team can go no more with either the time they're given or the distance that they have. And Butler, in fact, with the larger time bank, will actually attack second. So it's Aquinas attack again with the 1 minute 55 seconds that they have. Yeah, this has been a very momentum-centric game as far as that goes. Specifically thinking about this Nabani map. That once both teams captured point A, it was a pretty quick round, at least out to point C. And then Butler's defense, I think, looking a little bit better than the corresponding one from Aquinas College. But nevertheless, we still have a lot of game ahead of us. As again, Butler's setting up. It looks like again going back to the Genji and the Echo. Not a bad setup, honestly. That's what worked well in the past. And we just gotta see how well it works now. Butler's feeling confident. Okay, so here we go. This is how the map is going to happen. Shadow Edge again with the early farm, and that's exactly what you need, I think. Excuse me, as far as that goes. Thinking about the Genji. Again, Aquinas coming in with the Winston Diva and the Reaper and the Free. Very similar composition to last time. But Butler's ready there on the corner to respond. Once the Reaper gets close, that's going to be an issue, but If you don't let him get close, then you're going to do just fine. And if you're Butler University right now. And as we see, the Winston dive get denied there by Zebra. Just boosting him off the edge, keeping him out of the trajectory. That's going to look on the screen. As he jumps down yet again, it's the damage is just quite a lot here. As we're always already 70% to the Nano Boost, almost 60% to the Dragon Blade. That's going to be a VMAX there on the Red Diva. That's a good start here for Butler. And the question is just going to be how long they're going to last without it. Again, denying the Winston's of Blue Mama really playing well here on this early defense, but now we got the Nano Winston. That's going to bring some interesting things to think about. As the Primal Rage is popped, that's going to be an environmental kill on our second side. The Blade comes out from Shadow Edge. Again, 3 kills, 4 kills for Shadow Edge on the Genji. He's got to get player of the match. Or I should say player of the game after this map. Maybe even if Butler doesn't win, honestly. But meanwhile, that's a fight win. Even despite the game split, that's impressive. They're off the side of Aquinas, but nevertheless, as their time making is out, they're going to catch the point A. They don't have any extra time, so they're going to have to remain on the payload all the way through this overtime situation, however long it lasts. But I think the advice for Butler here is to get out while they can. So they're able to take a better fight here as Aquinas builds up their capture distance once again. We're going to see the Primal Rage from Butler. We're going to see actually both tank ultimates and a duplicate. You can really cause some havoc with that combination of ultimates. And Butler only needs to win once. One team fight to end this round. While Aquinas needs to be on the cart and in control the entire time if they want to have success here. It's all going. Oh, but Christian just melted down right as soon as jumped in. No time to pop the Primal Rage. No time to use self-destruct here on see that Echo. And there goes the self-destruct. That's not going to do much as the payload fight still continues. Ultimate's killing back and forth, and actually we're going to see again is the Primal Rage once he comes through. But meanwhile, Aquinas gaining a little bit of ground as Butler waiting for the team going back in. The purple, the Viatic grenade, how this team would do it, I don't even know. Affecting several Butler teammates there. Trades going back and forth again. Still pretty much the trade is in favor of Aquinas as far as that goes. Actually, no, the trade is definitely in favor of Butler for the sake of, again, trying to win just one fight. But in the meantime, Aquinas picked up the second point. Now we're looking at 5-3. And again, Aquinas trying to complete the whole map, but any distance that they can pick up at this point is gravy, I should say. Because it's going to make it that much harder for Butler to match in the next round. So if you're looking for a duplicate target, potentially, it's going to be an Nano Blade instead. Immediately anti-heal, but it doesn't even matter. A couple solid flashes here, again, maybe that's all you need. As far as that goes, so the fight continues here on the point. The Diva gets melted, the self-destruct comes out from the Echo, and that's going to be pretty well cleared off the point there. That's the end of the round here for Butler University. Sometimes it's all you need is the Nano Blade, and that's how it was this time. So just over 5 points here for Aquinas. Butler's going to have to go through and capture A and B, and make it at least as far as their opponents did in 2 minutes 11 seconds. In order to try to stay on top in this map and stay alive in this series. Again, it's a best of 3. We will go ahead and play a third map regardless, but definitely we want to make it as close as we can. Does Butler University. It's a really nice map when you're not killing each other on it.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
The compositions we're seeing should not be a surprise. Again, Butler on the Winston Diva seems to be working pretty well for him. Except for Dash able to clear off the armor packs to provide the little bit extra healing that they need for the dive. And it looks like the same thing that Aquinas is running as well. Just basically seeing the same matchups he did earlier in the round, earlier in the map. So I'm trying to say. And it's a new approach here. We get Shadow Edge Card on the top. Wait for the dive to come in. There we go, up to the left high ground. A couple tanks down there. The pressure followed low, but it's credit to Butler from Liana. Really keeping the pressure up through all of these really aggressive Winston-led dive positions from Butler so far. Waiting for the cooldowns to come up for a second push. And it's straight back onto the break. Rolling, there's the kill on the ring. That's what she needs. That's going to crack this point open, hopefully. So we got trades going back and forth. The retreat falls, and now it's Diva's one of the few left alive here. Trying to defend the point. But again, trading back with the kills from depression. That's exactly what we want to see is and Diva's not even staggered here. That's just going to be a quick take, ideally, from Butler University. Looks like there's a little bit in there. I don't know if she's going to try to touch. Looks like no.
60 seconds.
And that is going to be that. So again, Butler with the aggressive defense, I don't mind this as long as they're able to maintain their position on the point. Now, the shoe is on the other foot. Butler has to keep winning in order to keep pushing. Aquinas needs one solid team fight to round this map out. It's going to be the self-destruct. Not able to find anybody, so Butler's staying alive there. So Recto payload back here, only just around the corner, jumping out of the way of the ring. That's Brian. 30 seconds still left for Butler. Actually, the overtime hasn't even happened yet. They're a large time bank. But Primal Rage may cause a little bit of trouble in the backline. Definitely don't want to be in a concerning spot here. Oh, there's the one kill on the list, and that's unfortunately maybe all we need. Echo just a couple stuff from the price point out before the overtime starts. One kill on Liana, that may sometimes can be all you need. It's again, whatever that ultimate, I don't know. It's in the meantime, though, but with 3-1 cleared the point, it's going to continue to push. So, some quick swaps coming out from Butler onto Lucio briefly to try to get onto the point, but that's unnecessary. So we can swap back to the brig and play what they're used to playing. As we're rounding this corner, there's definitely going to be at least one more fight here on the point. No really big ultimate counter other than, I guess, the self-destruct here for this fight. So we're going to have to watch out for from the center. Solid. Everybody's got to be on the point here as we go. A big triple coming out from Butler from the honor before he dives. Couple kills. There's a self-destruct. It's going to be enough to take out Shadow Edge on the DMG, unfortunately, but as the DMAC able to successfully avoid the flash damage on that. You can hear the calls in the background. It's a big fight, but unfortunately, I think it's looking like Butler's going to be able to clear Aquinas off if I have not spoken too soon. We'll see how that goes. The tree just moved back just a little bit. It's still not definitive though, honestly. We've still got some distance to go as the fight continues. There's a couple brig-aided kills there from Intrepid Cash. He's on fire. Butler's captured the point, and now it's all down to these last 40 meters. You can see the golden box of victory. That's what they call it. They're on the ground. That's as far as Butler University will need to push this payload in order to take the map and get us back to 1-1 in the series. Send us to a tiebreaker and well, it's going to be this fight right here. Started with a couple nano boosts. Oh, the nano death loss, and that's going to be big. There's several kills there. Robo on the Reaper. How long are they able to hold? Unfortunately, that's the end of it right there. Yeah, that nano death loss, and that was a big ultimate combo there. Like I said, Aquinas, we've only got to win one fight. And sure enough, that's the way it happened. I'm sure that's going to be the play of the game here at the end of the match. And we won't even see the play of the game. As we will now transition back to me for a second. Ideally. Let me see. Yeah, so I haven't had the chance to talk much here on the actual microphone. But yeah, we're headed into map 3. It's going to be Watchpoint Gibraltar. It'll be a similar kind of play what we've seen, but of course it's an escort map. Yeah, this is where I would talk to my co-caster and break down what happened. I mean, that was a big series. That was a big map. Lots of momentum swings back and forth, which I mean is the kind of thing you want to see with a couple teams that are really closely matched, and that's a good sign for competition's sake. So that's a good thing. As it looks like we'll be jumping in here before too long. Butler on the defense in the first round of Watchpoint Gibraltar. We'll see that here on the maps. Yes, if you'll join us also for the second series of the night. It'll start about 7 o'clock. We'll see exactly when that ends up being, but also on these same 3 maps against, I believe it's Southern New Hampshire University will be the opponent there. But before then, we've got one more map. It's going to be a good one. As we are headed to Watchpoint Gibraltar here in just a second. And it looks like we're going to take a small break here for the teams to have a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a breath before we continue into the series. But I think there's definitely a lot to be excited about here if you're a Butler fan. If we go back to week 1 of the NECC Preseason, these activation matches, Butler comes away with the 2-0 against. Quick recall here. I couldn't tell you who they played, but they got 2 wins last week. Playing a close series this week with 1 opponent still to go. I think it's a really good position to be in if you're headed into week 1 of the NECC season, which will start next Thursday, and Thursdays here from here on out. But really good elements from both teams, and really good elements here. I think as the season goes on, we're going to see more and better things from this Butler squad in terms of cohesiveness, in terms of organization, and we've seen, and there've been good things on that already. So that I'm very excited to see how this goes. As it looks like we jump now into the game. We're headed to Watchpoint Gibraltar. As I pull up my game here, so I can properly take you around. This is the rocket ship. They're gonna go to space. That's what's happening here at Watchpoint Gibraltar. Butler will be on the defense first as we work our way backward through the map from point C into the warehouse that is point B. Also has a spaceship, because why not?
Ready for battle.
We'll see Butler emerging here before too long. Another really great map for the bad composition. We've seen a lot here from Butler as well. I'm not surprised at all to see him come out on the Winston Diva. We've seen Zarya to not surprised to see that from ATV either. For the side of Aquinas College, a little bit too far of a jump there from depression, but it happens. There's the payload. This map is pure payload, so there's no points to capture at all. Butler will just kind of jump into it once it's their turn, but it's Aquinas' attack for now. We'll see exactly how they're able to manage this. Butler hiding in, waiting to be engaged. It's always a trade-off here to the high ground. You've got so many more options, strategically and competitively. At the same time, you've got to trade that with payload progress. So it's an interesting trade-off there. But what intrigues me here is definitely no other Nexus on the Widow. It's a pick we haven't seen in this series yet, and it's really one you can definitely carry or not in very easily. So I'll be interested to see how one if he stays on it. It looks like he was going to swap potentially. And number 2, I have not been paying attention to the map, and the payload is already down here. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're doing great. There's a team fight happening. And unfortunately, Butler's not doing so great. Several kills and a really big grenade there from Diana of Butters onto the Winston, but the question is how successful is it going to be? Even through the nano boost, not a lot is happening, unfortunately. I don't like that 3v1, although they still haven't captured the point, so that's something I don't anticipate that they're going to try to touch this again. As Aquinas is able to pick up point A, with lots and lots of card progress. Now the question is always going to be who can control this upper rocket, again in terms of the variety of positioning that it has. So it's pushing right here ahead, controlling lots of space with his Widowmaker again. I'm not getting stood on her forever, I promise. Really, Butler's finding themselves restricted about where they can be comfortably. Although it is again be up here from Shadow Edge. Hasn't quite upped his Dragon Blade yet, but now Butler's being quite cautious because of that ultimate from the Widowmaker that's available. As that has worn out about now, you can see the pressure they're under trying to invert from the door. And there's the grab, finally holding them all in place as the payload continues forward. It's only the tanks here from Butler, isolated and stuck here on the payload. Not what you want to see. The nano break though is quite something. Nano break there. I believe they call that the raid boss. Popping the rally, putting in some work, and really keeping her team alive. Unfortunately, not herself so much. Finally falls down to the Winston. There's the Death Blossom coming in. Deflected onto the reset killing, but not quite enough to stop the payload's progress. 5-minute time bank here for Aquinas College, and they get the dagger here on the break. Dice is going to straight up kill him. 5 minutes for Aquinas College as they make their way onto point C. We've got another blade for Shadow Edge. Unfortunately, no nano to combo with. He's already shown here in the past of this series that that's not always necessary, but definitely a lot of the support's energy and time have been focused into depression just for the sake of keeping him alive and keeping him maintained through some of these really difficult dives and unfortunately that. Could have used it now after all, we'll see. The Widow's being really impressive. Even if he hasn't been getting tons and tons of kills, just even the pressure of having that threat to the space has really been disrupting the way Butler likes to play in the space they've been left to escape. And that's the grab coming through as the payload just continues basically undefeated. The depression jumping onto the payload here. The support is just not quite there from Zana. He's dead. The nano break again coming through, and a quick immortality field on the point was not, unfortunately, stall it as Aquinas runs into point C with just a little bit less than 4 minutes in their time bank. So just like last time, we'll switch sides. It'll be Butler's turn to attack, and we'll trade off. See what kind of time bank ends up happening there as we jump down into the spawn with Aquinas College. Well, this was not the way into the spawn, but it's fine. There's Aquinas College.
Ready for battle.
Again, the consistency of heroes I'm not surprised to see at all. Particularly, playing at this level, it's half of its comfort, really. As far as that goes, you play what you're comfortable with, you play what you're gonna find success on, and that's clearly for both these teams has been. There we go. There's the Widowmaker again. I'm hearing that from the other side. See the sunshine of Spain, I guess. I don't know. The sunset here at Gibraltar. Yeah, it's time for another round. This time, Butler University on the attack. Jumping into this corner and surprise, it's the other team. Should not be surprised at all, really. Trying to see what angles and what corners they're able to hold as they make this payload approach. That's a really unpredictable window. I will not be surprised at all to see the dive coming. Looks like that. Traded again. Butler basically relatively untested, at least without losing a kill. They're able to move down here into the underpass. But of course, the Reaper from over there to greet him. And quickly porting out once again. There's a little pick. But unfortunately traded again. They're immediately shadowing. That's the ability to play in the Genji. Still the way make a weak boss. Again, really building up to an ultra charge, but not necessarily a fight win combination just yet, but I'm sure we will get there.
And here I thought we had a plan.
And here I thought we had a plan, says Genji. Yes, well, we'll get there, I promise. Playing the waiting game, I think, with the women just being so far back. If we pop over there, you can see how far removed she is from the action, and it makes her that much more difficult to contest. That's certainly an issue that we're running into. If you're Butler University. Meanwhile, we are getting close to an end with would not be surprised at all if that's what Butler's building towards that combo. And with how successful it's been, I do not blame him in the least. In fact, I'm just going to swap over here, make sure we know what's going on. Really quick deflect, that's really not. Okay, they put some pulse on the plan, so it's the type of whatever. Couple things here, but at the same time, the Widow falls, the red tank falls, and honestly, these are looking pretty nice. Even without the blade, I'm not sure it's going to be super necessary. Well, I don't know. Don't listen to me, I'm just the caster. Definitely a good grab though, from or an impactful grab. I'll say that much. Butler has made it under the or through the underpass, like I said, but the important part is still ahead. As you can see how closely Butters is following into the battle. Dive all the way back to the very corner. That's going to pick off the team fighter. On immediately falls, but unfortunately depression may follow if he's not able to jump out, which he was. Actually completely or quickly pushed out of the first one, but not before being effective for sure. Pretty good. Hope we can be more for the Winston. This is exactly the kind of thing we want to see. But we're pushing up here towards point A. I anticipate there may be a challenge here, but as I say that, well, yeah, I don't know. There's a couple kills here with the death weapon. That's definitely been a big tool for Aquinas this whole series. That's the team kill. 20 seconds left. We are in game mode here, basically. As we get close to the end of this map here, suppression on the Winston. Probably gonna be one of the first to touch, just by virtue of where he's located. Try to make sure we get through over. Try to make sure we get through overtime. There's the grab that comes through. Not much follow there. Oh, and that's the victory. Deadeye, they're on the points. Aquinas College taking the series 3-0. Definitely a closer one, at least on the first couple of maps. I think then the line might let on, but certainly here on map 3, the momentum or the steam or whatever it is, definitely the favorite here of the Aquinas College. Synchronized, I think, is their mascot. So that about does it for this series. This series between the Butler University and Aquinas College. GG's to them for sure. We will be back here before too long. Couldn't tell exactly when with the second series against Southern New Hampshire University. But until then, sit tight there in the chat, and we'll see you back soon.